What's up guys, Julian here today. I'm going to be showing you something I haven't shown you before, which is how to make a full Electro / Ghettotech track. Every single element, as well as the arrangement and everything that goes into it, I'm going to be showing you in this video. So this is going to be a really useful video. I've never seen anything like this on YouTube before, and I think it can really help if you've been struggling with this style. To go along with this video, I've got this full track template, every single instrument, all the MIDI, samples, presets, and the full project file are all available at the top of the description on my website. Definitely don't miss this. You know, if you've been trying to make these tracks and maybe you just need some new inspiration, or you've been getting stuck with arrangement or writing patterns, whatever it may be, it's all available at the top of the description right there for you. So you can write today, take your tracks to the next level. You know, this is something you could do right now that would instantly make you have better tracks because you have this template and it can really help you build on it and expand. Plus, it's just some great inspiration, even if you already know what you're doing. And on top of that, it really helps support me. If you guys enjoyed these videos, I really don't make a whole lot off of YouTube. But with these sample packs and these templates, I'm able to keep bringing you guys new videos every single day. So, thank you so much for all the support, guys. And template at the top of the description. Let's dive in. So, we're at 145 BPM. You know, already a little bit faster. And the first thing we have up here would be the low end groove. Which you can hear sounds a little bit different at different times in the track. So, this is kind of like the most basic thing when you make one of these tracks, right? I always start with just the kick. There's a nice, fat, punchy 808 style kick. And then the sub bass. Which you can see is just an 808, like just a modern hip hop 808. Same thing you would use in a trap beat. Right, I've got that. And then this has this pattern here where it's really just based around A and A sharp. And then it goes to this G sharp there as well for like a gliding note. So you can see we have this like boom, 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 and it's like this slow glide. Like you just hear it kind of go down really slowly. That's the point of that. And it does it over here. And then down there as well. And then what's happening is you can see we have this really long glide time inside of the simpler here. So that's how you get that like really slow glide down. Because if you make this too fast, you can see, you know, then it just goes right down like you don't really want. So we've got that, and that's being side changed to the kick. And you want to start by getting that really good with the kick. Like just get these two sitting together well. Maybe you could add the snare now if you wanted. Right, so once we have these, then I made this next layer using wavetable actually. And so you can hear what this is meant to really just be some mid-range, right? Like we're cutting out the bass. There's no actual low end happening. And it's playing the same MIDI. You can see the glide is set to the same time so that you get that even glide across multiple elements, and it's going to sound like one thing. And basically it's just this big fat respace type of sound, you know, one saw wave, a ton of unison, and then I have an envelope on this low pass filter. So you're getting a pluck, and then the filter's moving all throughout the track, you can see. And it just really helps to build the tension this way, because now you're getting like, you know, at different parts in the track, different things. Like over here it chills out, but then it could be really energetic and full there. And it's a good way to add, because you can have this still just be one thing the whole time, right? That sub bass, but then have something that's still kind of changing and adding some harmonics. And that's also just going through a bit of distortion. And then the last layer for the bass is one more 808. So it's the same 808 that I showed you for the sub bass. But what I did is, you can see this one doesn't play the whole time like that one does. And what this one's doing is it's got the same glide settings, and it's actually going through this saturator here. So we're using the wave shaper, so you get that super crunchy, almost like FM sounding distortion. And so yeah, this is like, basically I just kind of set this up so that it sounded good, right? Like there's not really, there's not like a lot of signs necessarily here. You're just kind of trying to make this sound like what you want in theory by playing around with the knobs. But what is happening here is there's automation on this bass here. And then that is kind of like giving it, see, it starts like a bit more chill. And then using that, we're able to really like open it up and just make it into this like super crunchy thing. And again, it's just a really good way to build tension to the track, because you can have this part be chill. And we're building and building, but then we can also have this part where it explodes. And it's also just got a high pass filter, and then it's being sidechained. So that's the main bass and the kick. You want to get that all started together. Then I also have these little bass plucks, which happen at the end of every 2 bars. And these are really simple, so it's 2 layers. So what's happening is, I'll show you the MIDI first. So it's just A and A sharp. Literally just 2 notes, right? Just across different octaves. And so you end on that A sharp, so that's how you get a lot of that like kind of feel there. And then over here, it's just A, right? And then the first sound is made using wavetable. So it's a square wave and a saw wave with a low pass filter, which has an envelope on it. You can see I've also got a little bit of FM on oscillator A. And you can see that oscillator FM amount also has an envelope on it. I've got, you can hear some unison there, a bit of echo, and then just some drum bus and a high pass filter. Here's what this one sounds like on its own. Then this one is made with analog, and you can see this one's a little bit more like kind of flat and down the center and adding a bit more punch. This is 2 square waves, an octave apart, with a low pass filter with an envelope, and then just some chorus, drum bus, high pass, and that bass mono. So actually, pretty simple sound. And then what brings these to life is we're automating the filter on both of them throughout the track. So you can see that, that's what's bringing these a lot of movement, so that this really opens up with the rest of the bass line. So that would be all the bass elements. As you can see, it takes a bit of time, but that's really going to be the foundation for a strong track here. All this other stuff is just sitting on top of that. So then the next thing we have here would be the percussion. I can see this is probably where we have the most stuff allocated, right? Like this is definitely the most elements making up the percussion. So I'm just going to go from like the most in your face elements down. So we start with the snare, which is 2 layers. So we have an 808 snare, which obviously gives it the punch. And then this clap just gives it that like over top of it, which makes it hit even harder. And you get like a nice, you want to try to get this like even with the kick and bass groove. Right? Like that's kind of like the counterbalance to that is the snare going. So you really want to make sure it's punchy. Then we have some hi-hats, like we got this tambourine. And this hi-hat over top of it. Little 808 open hi-hat too. I have this hi-hat which I made with a synth. So it's just some white noise in operator here. And it's going through a high-pass filter with a little envelope on it. And then we have an LFO moving around the filter. So you hear that's like constantly changing and evolving. And we also just have a bit of delay and then just another high pass filter. So that's a way that you can make some hi-hats that kind of have more life to them, right? And feel more like alive and not just like static like if you use the sample. Then, speaking of making your percussion come to life, we have this delay percussion here. So this is the same deal. So this is samples actually. It's just a few different samples kind of creating this groove. But then it's going through this echo, which gives it like more movement and kind of makes it keep it going through. Yeah, like you can hear that energy is really a lot more than if you just didn't have the delay. We have this metallic percussion. So what this is this percussion sample, which I'll play it with the snare so you can hear how it's fitting into the beat. Right, it's just this simple thing, but then I'm using this resonator here, tuned to A. And then it's going through an echo, and then it also has this low pass, which is opening and closing. But on the low pass, there's a quarter note, saw wave down, LFO, so it's kind of like you get like that bow, bow, bow kind of pulse over top of the rhythm. And that's what makes this one work. It's the combination of the rhythm that it's playing, but then the delays, and then this LFO on the filter adding extra movement. Then we just have some drum bus, and then a high pass. Moving down, we have like this deeper percussion, which is a very similar concept. So this is another just kind of like nice chill percussion sound, but then it's going through some echo, some distortion, and then I have another low pass actually with that same kind of LFO on it. See, so you start stacking these and you're getting like a lot of movement. And these are all those little background elements that are gonna come together and really make this all work. And then we just have this little click. Kind of like some more organic sounds in the background there, adding some like, and then we have this percussion. As you can hear, just add some space, you know, it's got a bit of reverb. And yeah, pretty simple. So there is the actual percussion. Again, not that hard, but you can see all the little detail layers that are going to come in. And if you put that over top of a solid kick and bass groove, you'll be able to make it work. So then the last thing we have down here will be all of the synths and like the effects for the track. And so these, as you can see, there's not really that much, but what's happening is adding a lot, even though it's really simple. So the first thing here is this art. So here's the pattern for this. It's playing a simple pattern. It's just two notes that I've been using all throughout this project file. A and A sharp, right? So very simple, not really that musical, more just about like the rhythm, I think, like that dun 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 dun. And then how that's gonna fit over the boom boom kind of beat, right? So then for the sound on this one, it's actually pretty simple, but it's very dynamic, and I'll show you how. So what's happening here is it's a square wave inside of wavetable here, a bunch of unison. And then we have an envelope on the pulse width and the sync. So that's the first thing. We also, on the pulse width, and then we have the sync turned up, with an LFO on that. Then we have an envelope on the filter cutoff. But then what's happening is there's automation on the filter cutoff. So that's the first thing that's making it very dynamic, right? You can see it's pretty much constantly moving throughout this track, going up and down. So you're getting lots of life to it. But then on top of that, there's also this automation on the global mod amount. So basically what that means is like how much these envelopes and LFOs are going to be sent to the sound, right? Or to the different parameters that they're moving. So if you automate that like I've done here, you can see you can really bring this to life, because now it's like not only is the filter frequency automating, the amount of the envelope is automating. And it really makes it come to life in these parts where it's super open. So yeah, I really recommend trying that. It's an interesting way to just bring more life to your synths. Then we have a filter delay. You can see I tweaked this a bit to make it a little bit less stereo and just kind of add these like nice 3 delay lines to the sound. and add more space. We got some reverb, a bit of drum bus, and then just a high pass filter. Then we have some drones, so we got this one. This is just A and A sharp, you know, just creating this nice droning, evil sounding pattern. And this is made with some FM synthesis. So what's happening here is a very simple sound, but it doesn't take much to get this like nice kind of thing that you want. So what we're doing here is it's 2 sine waves, detuned a little bit, and the first one's actually a few octaves higher. So it's creating this like very metallic sort of sound that drones nicely with that detune, because you're getting some movement. And then what we have here is we have a low pass filter, and then an LFO on that, so you're getting even more movement. Then we have some chorus, some reverb, a high pass, and then we have a low pass filter at the end, which you can see just opens and closes like to kind of bring the sound in and out of the track. Then the second drone, this one is still pretty simple. I think it's using 1 extra note. Yeah, so this one is A and A sharp, but then there's also this E here. That gives you this kind of uneasy thing when it's played with the A sharp. And technically that's breaking the key because of the A sharp. But if you look at this from like an A minor perspective, that would just be the 5th. So pretty simple, but it can kind of add more texture and more of like an evil feel to this drone, I think. So this one's also made with operator. It's a little bit more complex version of what you just saw. So this is 3 sine waves in different octaves, and then just some a little bit of redux, some reverb, this tape rack here, and then a low pass filter which just brings it in and out. Then we have this FM ARP down here. And so this comes in about halfway through the track, and that's important because you want to have some stuff that isn't just like all the way through the track, right? Like, you need something that could come in the middle of the track that they haven't heard yet that will make it fresh there, right? Because otherwise it becomes too much of the same loop. So that's what this serves the purpose of, and also this thing underneath it that I'm about to show you too. But this one, so the way this is made is using operator. What we're doing is we have 2 sine waves detuned a tiny bit. Second one is up a bunch of octaves so you get this nice metallic sound. Then what's happening is there's a filter with a hard shaper, and then an LFO on the filter cutoff as well as the volume of oscillator B. So you're getting this I guess like 16th notes here. Well, it's 8th notes, but then the delay makes it 16th notes. So we have that, but then also we're automating the level of oscillator B. So you're getting that like kind of building metallic thing, and also there's a little attack on oscillator B, so it's kind of like it goes in. It doesn't just right at the start. It's like kind of goes into the sound like that. So yeah, we got that, and then we just have a bit of chorus, which I'm automating the feedback on that, so you get this like metallic kind of wash at the end, like that. I'm also automating the filter delay, so the dry signal disappears and you get just those delays. And then there's a high pass filter. And then this last little ARP down here. So this is made using wavetable. So again, this is just A and A sharp across different octaves. Again, you can do a lot with 2 different notes and different octaves and just playing with the rhythms. For the sound, it's made with wavetable. So it's a saw wave and a square wave with a low pass filter, and then this very tight envelope on the filter cutoff, plus a bunch of unison, some drum bus, a bit of reverb, and then a low pass filter after the fact, which you can see just builds this in and out. And that's something, you know, these sounds are very dynamic. They never really sit in the same place. Even if it's just a low pass filter on it, there's always something moving and changing and morphing to bring the track to life. So that's going to be it for this one, guys. I hope you enjoyed. As always, make sure to like this video as well as subscribe, and let me know what you think of this video in the comments. Like I said in the beginning, you can get this full project file, samples, MIDI, presets, every single thing from this video is available right at the top of the description on my website. Don't miss out, guys. While it's available, go grab it. This is really something you could do right this second that will instantly take your tracks to the next level forever. Don't miss out. It's available now. Link is at the top of the description. Thank you so much for the support, guys. If I've ever helped you with YouTube, go grab this because it's really going to help support me so I can keep bringing you guys new tutorials. Thank you so much for the support, everybody, and I'll see you tomorrow with another video.